I'm going to go ahead and click Next. So right now, well, when it gets to that point, it's going to rewrite those items in your web config for you. So that was another step that we had to do. You had to be, you had to be somebody that was XML savvy in order to do that. Obviously, most people that are developers wouldn't consider anything XML savvy. It's like it's just text, but you have to be XML savvy in order to do that. So right now, it's installing the database scripts. All right, it has all these text files that have all these TSQL commands. So right now it's going and it's populating certain things with data. It's changing data structure from version to version. As you can see, it started with version 4.4, and it's moving us all the way down to 4.4 or 4.8.4. So there we go. Installation of database complete. All right. So now we're going to go next. So was that difficult? So far we're doing good, right? Yes, sir.
I just have a quick question because I came in late. I apologize. I've got a DotNetNuke up and I don't actually have it published or anything like that. I'm just starting to play with it. So are you doing this from straight up, you just downloaded it and you're doing your install?
Yes.
Okay, because this looks a little different than what I went through. I went through a basic, hey, here it is, fill a few things out, and then I clicked next and everything went through.
Then you probably went through the typical install?
Yeah.
I'm going through the complete to show everybody the other options that there are, and just explain what's going on. That's all. Okay. There's the auto, which doesn't show you any of this wizard at all, and it just gives you this this script. Well, not script, but basically this log all the way down, and it doesn't show you any of these steps. And it just as long as it's none of it's red, you're good. Yes, sir.
You said there were regular updates that come out to the core modules. Now, I'm assuming that the website does not go get them and just do them automatically like Windows forces us to.
No, but I'll show you something cool that it does do.
Okay, because as long as we have control of it, that means I get a chance to test it in my environment.
Yes. And sometimes, if you monitor the forums, sometimes the module teams will come out and call out for beta testers, and it's sometimes a really good thing to get involved in that. Because a lot of times the people that get involved in those beta testing, they want to get involved, they want to get the download, but they never get feedback. So if you do, please give feedback. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go next.
And we also get we actually get the code, the actual core code comes with it, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah. Everything that you get from DNN site, it all comes with the source code.
Because one of the things we have to be careful is because I think some of the core code got changed. They customized it where I work now. So
yeah, you got to be careful. Right?
so that's why we haven't moved up yet, because we got to look at.
This wasn't a development class, but since you mentioned it, if any of you are going to be developing or maintaining the .NET site, at all measures, please try not to change the core code. All right? And if you do, document it well. All right? I haven't run across an implementation of .NET yet where it didn't need some sort of tweaking for in the core, but almost everything I see didn't need to change the core assembly, just some of the website files. So if at all possible, try to stay away from it. If you can't, document it. All right, that's going to make your life upgrading much easier. All right. So right now it's asking for the host user. All right. There's a host user and there's an admin user. Can anybody tell me what the host user is? Yes.
Person who's going to have the .NET on their server.
Well,
they're when people log in, the host is not responsible for maintaining the site. They're just essentially hosting it. They have it. They're holding it for you.
You can think of it in terms of that. When we talk about .NET Nuke host users, what we're more referring to is the host user is the person that can manage everything on all instances of all portals for this installation. Okay, so the host user, if somebody compromises your host user account, they own every single site that you have on that instance. All right, so you always want to protect this very much. And so that being said, never log in with the host account unless you have SSL credentials or unless you really need to do something that only a host account can do. All right? Yes, sir?
Just a little comment about the host account. A host account, you can install modules.
Oh, that's true.
An admin, you can't.
I was going to go over the some of the admin menu and the host menu later.
If the host sets up the admin permissions for the admin to install skins on the particular portal that admin is administrating, then the admin can install skins, but the admin cannot install a module. Only the host can, and then the host makes that module available to that portal.
Or not available.
Or not available.
All right. Yeah. Well, in a little bit, once we go through the upgrade, I'll show. Time permitting. Well, I'm not going to run into the next guy. He doesn't care. But I'll give you a quick rundown of the admin menu and the host menu and the differences of what the admin sees and the host doesn't. All right, so I'm going to give some information here for the host account. By default, host is in that text box field. If you leave it that and you log in as a host, you're going to get this nasty little message in your little top saying, hey, you're using a known account that's used for, so for security purposes, change it. All right, so I typically use for my host account webmaster. No, I typically use web. So I'm going to just say, I don't know, I usually say something. I'll just go ahead and use webmaster. All right, so I'm going to give a real quick password, nothing crazy here, and
What's that password? We can't quite read it.
it's dot. Yes. All right. Okay. Oh, you probably want to put your first and last name in here. All right. Next. Ooh, 7 characters. Hold on. It just told me I have to have at least 7 characters in my password. That's modifiable in your web config if you want to change that. But 7 characters or more is a good thing. All right, so we're at the next step. Created our host user. Now it's showing us all these modules that are available to us. The ones that you see grayed out, you have to install. Okay, they're already done. Now for people, once you get more advanced, you'll find out that you can alter that, but we'll leave that alone for now. Okay. The ones that you see not checked and not grayed out, you can choose to install that now, or you can choose not to by just leaving it unchecked. I'm going to go ahead and check the survey module just to change something here, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. All right. Is there any questions on that page? I just kind of went over that quickly. Okay. Next thing is authentication services. We've got Active Directory and card space that are optional. We got Live ID and Open ID that are already installed for us. Okay, so if you want to add to the web forms authentication and give people option to use another one of these other ones, or a third-party one that you buy, or maybe one you wrote, there is a way to make this show up in here, or later on you can install it. Yes, sir.
Just have a quick question. Say I decided I want to go back and since I've already installed the .NetNuke, everything's set. I log in under admin. I guess where could I find where I can install these other modules?
We'll show you that in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click next here. I'm not going to install these other providers.
One thing I'd like to comment on with what Will was just going through, again, this is a custom installation. You saw the module that you can select from. And if you want to go through this custom thing, you can, and I think it's highly recommended as you're getting introduced to DotNetNuke and using it. But don't install all those modules.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Don't install all of them for the interim. When you first load it, don't install it. Like Will said, he'll show you how to install them later because it does affect the performance, and we'll be sitting here waiting a lot longer.
Almost every single one of those modules comes with a DLL, all right? And that DLL gets dropped into your bin folder. Once your site executes and gets loaded into memory, every single one of those DLLs are loaded into memory as well, all right? So if you want your site to be scalable, you want to not install things that you don't need, all right?
If you need them, install them by all means, obviously. If you don't need them, you don't need the DLL in your bin folder.
All right, so now our next step is to install optional skins and containers. There's nothing in here unless you drop it in there. I've been able to see the beta version of the version 5 of .NetNuke, and that one actually has some optional skins and containers for you to choose from, but this doesn't.
What's a container? Oh, we already answered that.
I can tell you.
I guess I didn't understand. No, that's all right.
Since you were in the last session, I didn't make this joke, but I was going to make this joke with this here. He was trying to find a way to work it into his presentation. The last session was SharePoint, if anybody didn't know. And there's always a little jib-jab with SharePoint.NetNuke. And I was going to, come up here and say, okay, who's used SharePoint? And say, okay, you get to sit up in front. All right. Okay, so next is language packs. Once again, if they're already installed, I get to choose from them. All right. So just like you said before, all this stuff gets skipped if you just choose typical installation, but you get to see everything that's going on right now. Portal administrator, this is important. This is not the host. So this is somebody that can manage the entire portal instance of this particular portal that's getting installed right now. All right. When you add another portal later on, or if you do, that will need a different admin account.
Can they be the same?
Kind of.